What's going on, guys? Kulprit here, and today we're going to talk about my best domination tips and strategies, as I've been playing a lot of domination here in the Battlefield 4 release. I like to play domination, TDM, those shorter game modes, more action, more gunplay. It helps me really wrap my head around the gunplay, obviously, as we're just starting here. Get a lot of the early unlocks, as well as dial in my settings how I exactly want them. On top of that, with the lack of server stability we've seen in the last couple days, I just find it's much better to play the shorter game matches. It leads to a lot less frustration than if a server drops and you use a 30, 40, 50-minute Conquest Large or Obliteration game mode, and you lose that progress. That's super frustrating, enough to make you rage, enough to make you want to not play. So if you lose a 10 or 15-minute domination game mode, it's not that big a deal. You can usually get that progress back in another match or two or something like that, so it's not that big a deal. It's kind of protecting myself from huge frustration that we're going through with the lack of stability in Battlefield 4 right now. So let's get right into some of my best fundamental tips to make you a better domination player that I found that work for me. First and foremost is the breakout. Do not go into your loadout. Do not go into your settings right now. Don't even cap your gimme. Hustle your ass. Get the B. It's SSD for the win. Get that flag capped. Find an advantageous position, and now you're gonna get probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 cheap kills as the other team, kind of slower moving guys, come to get B. Maybe they tag or they cap their gimme, and now they're moving to B trying to get it. You're already there. You got it capped. You're in a really good power position, and you're gonna clean up the kills as they kind of stumble onto the B flag. I can't tell you how much of an advantage this just sets you right out of the gate. I like to apply pressure on the enemy. I like to lean on them. People make mistakes when under pressure, and you can capitalize on that, and then it's just you're going to roll on them the rest of the match. It really sets a precedent. It puts them on a bleed. People panic when on bleed. Even if they're only 10 tickets down and it's a 300 or 400 ticket match, they get this mentality that I got to do something. I got to do something, and they do stupid things. And if you're a smart player, heady player, your sound and your fundamentals, as we're talking about here today, you'll be able to capitalize that, and it'll get you to the victory. Now, the pace, as we know, of Battlefield 4 is a little bit different than Battlefield 3. It's a little slower, and that's because of the hit notification being laggy, these types of things. You die a lot quicker, so you have to play a little bit safer. So that's led me to try kind of adapt. Like I said, I like to be a pressure guy. I like to be a rusher. I like to be pushing a lot. I've had to dial that back in Battlefield 4. That's especially true with domination because with the random spawns, you never quite know where the enemy's at. So you have to be a little, methodical about how you move. With that said, my kind of rule is to move, secure, and hold. I identify an area I want to go, I move to there, I secure that area. Let's just say a building. I get into the building, I make sure the building is secure as it can be with those random spawns, and then I hold that position for a little while to then get a lay of the land surrounding me before I move on to another, what I would say, power position or a flag or what have you. Now keep in mind, it doesn't matter how secure you think the area is. If your back is in a corner with these spawns, sometimes it's still possible for somebody to spawn in behind you. So keep your head on a swivel and always be looking around you, and don't just tunnel vision in on any little area of the map. Now, talking about pacing, let the play come to you. It's good to push. It's good to keep the pressure on the enemy. When you have 2 flags, now it's time to shift gears a little bit. Slow it down. You don't have to get the triple cap. If the opportunity arises, take it, obviously. But you have them on the bleed. It's up to them to push. It's up to them to put themselves into a vulnerable position. The best idea for you is to get a good, strong, tactical power position. Let them run at you. You're going to know what flags they want to take. They're going to continue to try to take them usually. It's human nature. They just kind of keep going after the same objective until they get it. Well, why don't you pick a good spot on their flank and just clean up kills? Pad that KD. There's nothing wrong with padding a KD as long as you're playing the objective and getting the win, right? Now, as I mentioned, the random spawns and how crazy your surroundings can be with guys spawning everywhere. One way to kind of combat that is to check your minimap constantly. Be very minimap aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel, as I mentioned. Every time you have about a spare half second, make sure you're checking that map. Make sure you're looking around you so that you know if you're in imminent danger and you need to do something right now, or if you're fairly secure and you can kind of take your time moving around. Every time you go to reload, check the minimap. Every time you do anything, frankly, anytime you have a spare second, check that minimap. Just give it a glance. If you're going to see the red around you, you know you need to buckle down, find some cover. Enemies are inbound. Speaking of the minimap, people are very minimap reliant right now. They're having a hard time seeing people in the detailed, lush, foliage environment. The new maps, they don't really know where they're going. They are very minimap reliant. They're focusing on the minimap. So how's the best way to counter that? Use a suppressor. People move around a lot. They don't stay very stationary in domination. So if you're off the minimap, you are lethal to the enemy. They can't get a beat on you. They don't know where you're coming from. If you play smart on top of that and you know good flank routes, you can really rack up some nice streaks, and you can really clean up a building and then cap that flag pretty much all by yourself. The suppressor is really good in domination, at least right now in the learning phase, as people are very minimap reliant, and if you're not on the minimap, they really have no idea where you are. Now, I spoke about how bad the random spawns can be and how frustrating they can be on your end when an enemy spawns in behind you and kills you. Well, 2 can play that game. Don't just keep spawning on your squad mates and continue attacking the same objective. As you're doing that, the enemy team's going to be drawn in as well, and suddenly you're going to be facing a lot of enemy, around that single objective. Sometimes it's better to just say screw it, regroup, click random spawn, and hopefully your spawn mates will then spawn on you and go attack another objective, or at least come from a different flank on the existing objective. Use a random spawn to your advantage. Yes, you're going to occasionally get one where you spawn in the middle of a huddle of the enemy, but sometimes you're also going to spawn in behind that huddle, and you're going to get a pretty epic little moment where you can clean them out. Sometimes it's just nice to think about like rebooting it and just starting all over again, because listen, if it's fully random, you don't know where you're spawning, they don't know where you're going to spawn, and therefore they don't know where you are or where you're going to attack from next. There you go, guys. There's just a couple quick tips and strategies that I use to help me get better results when playing Domination game mode in Battlefield 4. Let me know down in the comments things you use. Just little short things that people can kind of read, digest, and go and test out. Those are the best things I find that give people the best results. So let me know in the comments some of your best tips and strategies for Domination, and I'll be sure to share them in a video in the future. I've had a lot of fun playing Domination. It's crazy, it's chaotic, but if you kind of get used to it and you get in the flow and you follow some of these things I talked about, the game will sort of feel like it's slowing down for you. It's going to make a little bit more sense. You're going to be able to kind of eliminate some of the randomness, and you're going to see your win-loss, at least in Domination, start to rise and get much better, and you're going to start having a lot more fun with the game mode. Like always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.